Hello everyone, welcome back to Bloom at MTG. Today I'm going to be showing to you my Necrobloom EDH deck. So this is a deck that I've been working on for about a month or so. And when the Necrobloom was spoiled in Modern Horizons 3, I don't believe it was one of the leaked cards. I loved the design, I love the way it looks, I love the zombie in this profile version, and I thought it'd be really fun to make a deck of. So I did, and I will be showing it to you today. Um, so the deck mainly functions around um, lands, landfall triggers, and manipulating the graveyard. So I have things like Mesmeric Orb, which helps get things in the graveyard. Now this deck is a little peculiar because it is not completely optimized. It has a lot of cards that are in here just because I like them or they mean something to me in my collection. Like for example, my Showcase Wandering Emperor. This card somewhat synergizes with the Necrobloom because of the token elements, but at the same time, it's not the best and it works much better in 60 card formats. But I don't currently have a 60 card deck that the Wandering Emperor would work well in, though I am considering building Azorius Spirits in Pioneer. Hopefully, some Pioneer content should be coming shortly. But this deck is an absolute blast. There is a lot of shuffling due to effects like Fabled Passage and other fetch lands, but it is fun to play. I brought it to my most recent Commander night at Friday Night Magic, and I did not win, but I got very close. It was a lot of fun. And so, like as I said, the deck has two main goals, but it has sort of a third, smaller one, which is the token generation aspect. To support the token generation, I have some support to it. And this card I'm about to show is another one that I've just been looking for a spot for, and I have not been able to sell it like I normally would with a copy of Parallel Lives because this is a misprint. The art is extra dark, and I don't know why. Um, but it's interesting. But it works very well with the Necrobloom's trigger because that turns every land drop into two plants or two zombies. Uh, the tokens I use in this deck were all drawn by friends of mine, so that makes it, a little sentimental and a little fun to play. Um, One of the other fun parts of this deck is I get to use cards like the Ruins Cycle. I believe it's the Ruins Cycle. Um, these are cards. No, they don't have a specific cycle name, but they all enter tapped, tapped to add a color, and then tapped to sacrifice to add two of that color. Um, they aren't normally very good because they enter tapped and you're getting rid of a land, but with Necrobloom, that can do a lot. Now, this isn't a normal deck, this is just more so I can remember some of the stuff that's in here. Um, and sort of show some stuff off. Another card that I really enjoy playing in this deck is Hermit Druid, but you have to be really careful with Hermit Druid because it is one in a green, and you can pay a green mana and tap it to reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal basic. You put the basic into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Now that's good because that gets a lot of stuff in the graveyard with the Necrobloom to dredge out. But however, that also can cause some problems. There are only 6 basic lands in this deck, 2 of each color, two white, 2 black, 2 green. One of which is there's 1 plains, 1 snow-covered plains, 1 swamp, 1 snow-covered swamp, and 1 snow-covered forest, and 1 forest. So that's good, but that can cause problems. I have milled myself to death with Hermit Druid because I miscalculated how many were in my graveyard. It is a pretty big player error, but that can happen. Um, but sort of the moral of the story, this is a very fun deck to play. While I'm talking, I'll pull out some of my favorite cards to show. This is a very fun deck to play. It can be sort of difficult because, especially with dredging, you have to sort of weigh the consequences and the rewards of pulling off a dredge. Um, but the majority of the time, you will have ways to recur things from your graveyard, like 6. And I love the uh, Necrobloom's design. One day I'll make a Plants vs. Zombie altar. Maybe a crazy Dave, you never know. Um, something like that. But that's the first thing I thought of was good old Plants vs Zombies. But they were probably going for that. But anyways, I'm starting to ramble. This is a fun deck, and if you're looking for a good new deck to play, you can make this deck very budget. Things like Evolving Wilds are great here, but no, I recommend it. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Goodbye.